This episode focuses on Mordecai and Rigby's love for messing around, starting with something as harmless and childish as prank calling people from the park's office phone. Their habit of turning boredom into reckless entertainment drives the story immediately, showing once again how they treat even the workplace as a playground. Their enthusiasm for prank calling highlights the contrast between their carefree approach to life and the more serious responsibilities they constantly avoid. What begins as a small, silly pastime quickly grows into something far more dangerous once they ignore every warning sign telling them to stop. Their enjoyment reaches a peak when they discover the number of a mysterious hotline known as the Master Prank Callers. The name alone excites them, making Rigby especially eager to prove himself as a prank master. They dial the number without hesitation, convinced they are about to impress someone on the other end with their so-called skill. But what they don't expect is that the hotline is not just a gimmick or a fan club. It is a portal to an entire realm dedicated to prank calling, and their call becomes the spark that opens the doorway to forces they're not prepared to handle. Their ignorance about the true nature of the number sets the entire supernatural conflict into motion. When the master prank callers respond, things shift drastically. Instead of taking their prank lightly, the callers become hostile and challenge Mordecai and Rigby for intruding into their domain. These figures operate with a strict code, seeing prank calling not as a game but as an art form, and they consider Mordecai and Rigby unworthy amateurs. Their seriousness adds an unexpected tension to something that seemed silly at first. This twist emphasizes one of the show's recurring themes. Mordecai and Rigby treat things casually until they collide with someone who takes the same hobby to an extreme, often dangerous level. The master prank callers use their powers to drag Mordecai and Rigby through time, pulling them into historical eras where prank calling as they know it doesn't exist. This time travel element adds a layer of frantic absurdity, turning their childish behavior into an escalating test of survival. The boys are forced to react quickly to environments they don't understand, and their struggle to adapt creates comedic tension as they try, and fail, to blend into the past. Their attempts to prank people from different eras fall flat or backfire hilariously, showing that their usual tactics hold no power outside their comfort zone. As the time jumps continue, Mordecai and Rigby begin to understand how outmatched they are. The master prank callers push them further into history, demonstrating the difference between genuine skill and reckless amusement. This forces the boys to reflect on their behavior in a way that feels both comedic and slightly humbling. Their usual confidence crumbles, replaced by panic as they realize they could become permanently stuck in a time period far removed from their own. This growing fear finally pushes them to treat the situation with seriousness, something they rarely do unless backed into a corner. The turning point arrives when Mordecai and Rigby decide to outsmart the master prank callers instead of trying to outprank them directly. They recognize that matching the villain's skill is impossible, so they shift their strategy to rely on teamwork, improvisation, and a bit of clever misdirection. Their friendship becomes the core advantage they have, as their chaotic thinking patterns complement each other in unexpected ways. Their dynamic, normally a source of trouble, becomes the key to escaping the time traps. Their final trick involves using the prank caller's own code against them. Mordecai and Rigby manage to set up a scenario where the villains become victims of a prank that technically follows their sacred rules, but turns the tables completely. This forces the prank callers to admit defeat, as their pride cannot handle being played so effectively. The victory is both messy and unlikely, fitting the pattern of how Mordecai and Rigby survive most episodes. Not through skill, but through unpredictable creativity and stubborn determination. Once the master prank callers are beaten, Mordecai and Rigby are sent back to their own time. The sudden return to normalcy contrasts sharply with the intensity of the previous scenes, grounding the episode again in the familiar environment of the park. Benson, completely unaware of their interdimensional ordeal, confronts them for using the office phone irresponsibly. The scolding feels almost trivial compared to what they just experienced, but that contrast is part of the humor. Their exhaustion and relief, make Benson's anger seem like the most normal thing in the world. The episode ends with Mordecai and Rigby deciding that prank calling isn't worth the trouble anymore, at least for a little while. Their newfound respect for the art form isn't deep or lasting, but it temporarily curbs their behavior. The experience reinforces the show's ongoing pattern of taking something simple, twisting it into something surreal, and bringing the characters back to where they started, slightly wiser, but still fundamentally themselves. This sets the tone for the next episode, where they once again dive into trouble because their boredom and impulsive curiosity inevitably lead them somewhere strange and unpredictable.